Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the fifth installment of SnowFlake 33. I'm your host, Mike Bostwick, and I am the owner of Pipe Choir Records, a fully independent record label, and the place where all of your dreams can come true. Alright, so back in 2002, I was attending college, and I was also working at the same college as an assistant in the Adobe Photoshop lab, and my wife was working as an elementary school teacher. And money for us at that time was, for the most part, pretty tight. So one day, when we were in a particular financial pinch, my wife decided to sell some of her old college textbooks on eBay. And those old worthless books sold like right away. And they sold really well, and they yielded a staggering amount of money. And we were both just shocked and amazed at how much money they actually made for us. And so this gave me an idea. My wife and I have always loved to shop at secondhand stores. We always have, ever since we were children. And over the years, every time we would go into one of these stores, we would notice that they had books for sale, but we never really paid them much attention. We would kind of just walk past them and look at other stuff. Well, after this whole experience with my wife's old textbooks selling on eBay like they did, I decided that I would try a little experiment. And I would take like $5, a crisp $5 bill, and I would go down to the nearest thrift store that I could find, and I would buy $5 worth of old college textbooks that were just sitting there on the shelf, and just see if we could sell them online. And we sold them, and that initial $5 investment yielded us about $300, if I remember correctly. And we were just shocked and just laughing so hard. Like, we could not believe that they sold so fast and that they made as much money for us as they did. So we just started to go to every secondhand store that we could find and buy all of their old textbooks. And we would take them home and put them up online for sale, and they would sell. And it became something that we would do regularly in our spare time or on weekends. We would go hunting for books. And we continued to do it that way for a long time. And then we started to go to library book sales up and down the East Coast between Maryland and Massachusetts. And we would buy textbooks. But then we also started to buy and sell other titles as well, fiction and nonfiction. And we also started to buy and sell compact discs and DVDs that we were finding at all of these library book sales as well. And we did it that way for a while. And eventually that led to us soliciting college bookstores from all over the country and buying up all of the old textbooks that they didn't want anymore. And we worked that way for a while. And then fast forward about 2 years later, and we had grown this small little business that we started out with that initial $5 investment into literally a warehouse-sized operation. And we were no longer dealing in single book titles, but we were now dealing in pallets of books and whole truckloads of books at a time. Now, this book business worked out great for both me and my wife because she was able to keep her full-time job and continue to do the work that she loved to do as a teacher, because that's all she's ever really wanted to do since she was a little kid. And I was able to quit my job and work on our book business full-time, which was great because I was my own boss and I could make my own schedule. And that allowed me to devote as much time as I needed to making music, which is what I really loved to do. And that was all I ever really wanted to do anyway. It's worth noting here that this book business of ours was not our first attempt at starting a small business. I mean, we have always had an entrepreneurial spirit between the both of us. And over the years, we've tried several different small business ideas. This was just the most successful one to date. And with this book business, we had decided early on, when it first started to take off, that we would split our duties. My wife would handle everything that was more on the intellectual side of the business. Things like accounting and bookkeeping and inventory and filing. And I would handle everything else. Things like making phone calls, dealing with vendors, finding new inventory, buying new inventory, dealing with freight companies, receiving and processing shipments, sending out shipments, and stocking the shelves and things like that. And it was really hard work. And trust me when I say, books are heavy. And our business continued to become very successful. But it wasn't the money we were making that made us happy. It was the thrill of watching such a simple idea, watching it take off like it did, and grow into something so much bigger than we had ever imagined it could. When we first started the book business, we were just one of a handful of businesses that were selling books like we were online. And we learned many, many things from that business. And not just how to run a business and do shipping and receiving and selling online and all of those kinds of things. But we came to a lot of conclusions about how we wanted to move forward in the future and what was important to us and what wasn't. And a lot of those things that we had learned from that business have carried over into how we run our record label today. Our life together was already happy before we started our book business. And the whole experience was exciting and all that kind of stuff. And making money like we did was nice. And enjoying the success we had was nice. But it was the thrill of watching our little idea flourish that motivated us more than any money. And that's what made us really happy. And every once in a while, we still go to a book sale and hunt for books the way we used to in those earlier days when the business first got started. Not really because we need to, but because we like to. Just for fun. And I don't think that we'll ever stop doing that, because we really do love books and hunting for books. Subsequently, we have amassed this killer book collection. I mean, you can't imagine the awesome book titles that we have found over the years. Also, our hunting for books and seeing so many book titles over the years kind of informed my concepts when I started to publish my own books. And that would never have happened if we had never started that book business way back then. Being an author and publishing books was never an ambition that I ever had growing up. It was only after we had started our book business that I felt that I could put together a book that was weird enough and was different enough from all of those books that I'd seen over the years. As of August 2016, I have published 4 books. So now, I don't just make music, I make books too. And that's the end of my 3rd story. I hope that you've enjoyed it. So for now, this is Mike Bostwick from Pipe Choir Records, the place where all of your dreams can come true. Signing off for now. And remember, folks, if you want to keep what you've got to give it away. Take it easy.